For decades, the steely red eyes, sleek form, and haunting wail of the common loon have captured the hearts of many here in Vermont. But close encounters with these lovely birds were not always as common as they are today. In the early 80s, they began to disappear from our lakes, and as loon populations across the state plunged to dangerous lows, citizens and conservationists alike became concerned and decided to take action.
There were only 12 pairs in the state of Vermont back in 1983, and before that it was maybe about 20 pairs, and there was a little bit of a drop there from the late 70s. And that's when the program first got started through the Vermont Institute of Natural Science. People here in Vermont decided what's going on in Vermont, and what they found was a lot of empty lakes. One of them is this lake behind us. This is Chittenden Reservoir.
In 1987, population recovery began in earnest following the designation of the loon as an endangered species. Since then, loon biologist Eric Hansen has been leading the charge to help these imperiled birds.
Any problem when you have a low population, you have to figure out what's going on. And one of them was disturbance to nest sites. And so that's where these signs sort of came out of, some ideas to protect the few sites that were out there, especially because loons like to nest right where people like to recreate. They're 1 or 2 feet from shore. They'd be right there. They'd be on islands where we'd like to picnic, go visit, swim.
With signs built and a mission to restore Vermont's loon population, Eric set out to place warning signs at nesting sites across Vermont. Soon after, an army of citizen scientists joined the cause, and since then, volunteers have been invaluable to the success of the Vermont Loon Recovery Project. One such dedicated loon enthusiast is Bob. So on a sunny morning in July, we loaded up the canoe and followed Bob and Eric on their rounds. What goes into the day-to-day conservation of the loon, and who are the people safeguarding these birds?
So today we're just replacing some nest warning signs that have been here for a long time, starting to rot out, and every 6, 7, 8, 10 years we got to do that. They've nested here 6 or 7 years, but only have pulled off chicks twice. This year there is a chick out here, so everyone's happy. But that's one of the things folks like Bob and the other volunteers for the project help do, is monitor the new pairs, where they show up. If they're starting the nest search, if you only start seeing one bird, it might indicate that one bird's already on a nest somewhere. And then we determine if there's management needs like these signs.
As we approach our site, Eric finds the remains of this year's successful nest and gives a bit of background into the nesting behavior of the loon.
But there's one chick out here somewhere with 2 adults, occasional intruder probably. So actually a pretty good island site. And they'll take whatever vegetation, muck, sticks, grasses that they can find and heap them into a pile, make a little bit of a nest bowl. But other times they'll use whatever they have, like that one's right on top of a bunch of sticks with just a little bit of turf up there. I've seen loons nest right on logs, on rocks. When they are on big island sites and mainland sites, they can be just on a little shelf. And sometimes they don't even make a nest bowl, they just kind of lay the eggs in a depression.
After collecting the old nest warning signs, we spend several hours demolishing, rebuilding, and replacing them. Finally, our time on Chittenden Reservoir is done. But the day isn't over for Eric or his army of volunteers around the rest of the state. There are loons on other lakes that face threats as well.
After we're finished on Chittenden Reservoir today, I'm going to be heading down to Harriman Reservoir, where there's been a bird for the last month caught in fishing line. And we're not sure when it actually got caught, but it's free swimming. This will be our 4th attempt at it. Adult survivorship is pretty important for maintaining a good loon population. And some of them don't make it, and in a typical year I'll have 3 to 6 mortalities. Some of that is due to fishing line, lead sinkers. They're probably account for almost half of the mortalities we've had in the 30 years of this program. Last year we also had a boat hit. We're seeing a bit more of that as the lakes become busier. And there's more loons, so they're out on the busier lakes.
In 2005, the Vermont Loon Recovery Project reached a major milestone with the removal of the common loon from the Vermont Endangered Species List. And despite the threats that loons continue to face,
now we have over 200 people on the lakes and ponds watching all summer long and keeping me informed. We're approaching 90 territorial pairs in the state. So compare that to less than 25 years ago. We've come a long way.
Though the original threats to loon survival persist, and new ones have appeared on the horizon, the Vermont Loon Recovery Project has been an amazing success. With the dedication of volunteers across the state and the leadership of Eric and other conservationists, we can rest assured that Vermonters will continue to hear the haunting wail of this lovely bird for years to come.